I needed it as a reference, especially when I wanted to be doing something and I had this other group over here that wanted to take me away from that. I knew it wasn't good, but I needed friends, right? I had peers. I wanted people to like me. One decision here, one decision there, one bad decision here could change the whole picture. Why am I here? Wow, that's big. Better yet, what is my purpose? What do I need? What should I be doing right now? Maybe it's not just one thing, but what am I here to do? I'm here to do something. I'm not here just to float. I'm not here just to wait for something to come to me and I say, oh, okay, that's what is my purpose here? Where am I going? Where do I see myself in 2 years, 3, 5? Have I been preparing for that? That's what my dad was talking about. Have I been preparing for that? So, my purpose here today is if you can walk out those doors differently than when you came in, then we're on the right track. If you can think a little bit deeper than when you came in these doors, if you can know yourself a little bit better, if you can treat somebody a little bit better, if you can answer those 3 questions maybe, then it's a good day. Listen, I was a horrible basketball player. I was just starting. My dad taught me a few things. I was just starting learning the game. My dad taught me a few things, but I wanted to be Dr. J, man. I started growing my afro out, man. Had my little pick, had a little fist on the end of it, and I picked my hair out. I could never get it even though. It was crooked. I had to turn my neck. No, I never. But I wanted to be him. I know it sounds crazy. I wanted to be the doctor. I don't know if you know who Dr. J is. You better Google that, man. Because my dad started me this little booklet about Dr. J, man. I just hoped one day I would meet the man. I wanted to see if he was a nice guy, he would sign an autograph for me. I wanted to be him. So going to junior high school, I had never played organized basketball in my life. The only basketball I had played was standing in the yard with my dad. So I'm walking through the halls in junior high school at 6'3", 6'4", and I see this poster on the gym door talking about basketball tryouts. Bing! Clicked. The heart started beating a little faster. I want to be Dr. J. I've got to figure out how to play organized basketball. So I showed up that day. I knew I wasn't very good, but I was confident. I was confident. Because I knew a few things about basketball. One very important thing I knew was the rim was 10 feet from the floor. I walked into that gym and there were 45 guys trying out for the team. It came to my waist, guys. No offense, my man. Where you go? No offense. But I'm thinking, okay, I got this. Some of you clap before everybody else. Oh, I got this. Just give me the ball. Just give it to me. I'll get it. I knew I had an advantage. So I walked in there confident. I remember my red shorts. I had those red shorts on, man. I walked in, tank top on. I was ready. We had these things called Chuck Taylors. You can Google that too. They were canvas. Man, canvas size 18. Oh, I didn't tell you that. I wore size 18 shoe. Coach lines us all up. Coach Herb Gray lines us all up in the line. He wanted to see where our talent skills were, so he gave the guy on the end of the ball. He starts doing this little dribble, and the ball was coming to me, and that's one thing I hadn't gotten to with my dad, because, you hit the ball, it came back, you just have to keep hitting it, right? What a concept. And I was okay doing that. If I had to move, man, that was problems. If you wear a size 18 shoe, you're trying to dribble a basketball and that thing hits the tip of your shoe, it's going. It's going a long way. So I struggled. I went and got the ball. I wanted to do it again. Coach said, next. So I gave it to the kid next to me. He put us through some drills I had never seen before. I thought I'd be standing there all day just catching it and throwing it into the basket. I went home and I'm thinking, man, that's the hardest thing I've ever had to do. But I couldn't sleep that night. I couldn't sleep. You know why? Because the next day, I knew on the gym door was a piece of paper with names on it. And I couldn't sleep. I could not wait to run down the hall and look at that piece of paper. When's the last time you couldn't sleep because you couldn't wait to get started on something? Today, I keep a pad. I mean, if you keep a pad or notebook beside your bed, a recorder or something. Those of you who don't, you need to do that. As you, because I know there's a song in you, and I mean that kind of figuratively, sort of. There's a song in you. You ever have one of those moments where you're humming something, man, it sounds good, it's yours, you got some lyrics going behind it. 2 hours later, you forgot it. Knew it was a hit. Didn't write it down, didn't record it. I'm not just talking about music, I'm talking about ideas, I'm talking about creative things. I ran down the hall that next day. I got off the bus and ran down the hall. Saw that piece of paper, man. I'm looking, I walk up to it, I'm looking at that thing, got a smile on my face. And my smile goes away. I think I even pulled the paper up and looked underneath it. Because my name wasn't on it. My name wasn't on that piece of paper. Are you kidding me? No way. I'm looking at these little guys give each other low fives. And I'm thinking, this guy beat me out. I got cut that day. I got cut from the basketball team. And listen, I'm realistic. I know I wasn't great. But yeah. That was the first time in my young life I'd ever experienced the pain of failure. Okay, I know I was a young man, a young preteen, but my goodness, failure hurts. Failure is painful, and that's why we like to stay away from it, right? That's why we don't like to go outside that zone where it might be a little bit uncomfortable. We might have to take a little risk. Because failure sucks. Failure is painful. And we're human. The things that we do are based on pleasure or pain. That's the reason we do or don't do things. Or we think that it's going to be painful. It's kind of like when you're a kid. Or when somebody brings you a hot plate. Plate's hot. You don't believe them. You need to touch it anyway. I was destroyed. I thought I was. How was I going to be Dr. J if I couldn't play organized basketball? I'm trying to follow this pattern of what Dr. J did. But when you're that young, you're resilient, right? You bounce back. I had my makeshift court in my yard. Before the sun went down, I'd be out there with the basketball. 5 seconds left on the clock. We were down by a point. Always down by a point. I had the ball in my hands, but I was never me. Come on, you've done it. You're never you. I was Dr. J every time, and we won. So I had to wait till my 8th grade year when I'm 6'7". I'm walking through the halls of this junior high school. There's a poster, basketball tryouts. The first thing you do, right, you remember the failure. You remember if you're passionate enough to take that moment when you were disappointed and say, okay, I know another opportunity is going to come. Do you prepare yourself for when that opportunity comes again? It came for me in the 8th grade. I walked in that gym in the 8th grade because that plane was still going. And I knew in order for me to reach that goal, of being Dr. J, I had to prepare myself. Walked in the gym, and I had grown a few inches. Went through the drills, I was a little bit better at some of them. Came back the next day, got to the piece of paper. I see Coach Gray kept this guy. I couldn't find my name anywhere on that thing. 6'7". I'm 6'7". Okay, I had failed before. And my expectation was that I was good enough to make it this time. So about this time on the second failure, you're thinking about your lives now. Something that maybe you failed at twice. On the second failure, you're thinking, okay, maybe this isn't my gig. Maybe it's not for me. But what you really need, right, you need a boost. You need a boost right now. You need somebody who's close to you, who believes in you to tell you it's going to be good, it's going to be all right. I didn't get that right away. I got the coach coming out of his office as I was walking away with tears rolling down my face, trying to pretend like something was in my eye. Thurl, he called my name. He walked over to me. I remember that day. He stood in front of me like this. He looked up at me like this. And I'm going to quote him, because it's in my journal. Son, give it up. You were not meant to play this game. You're wasting my time, he said. I don't have time to teach you how to play this game, because I'm trying to win a championship this year. So don't come out for my team your last year, which is next year, because you'll be wasting your time. So I had to answer. If I was going to be Dr. J, it would have to be some other way. Because Coach Gray told me, he told me maybe what I needed to hear. I didn't break down and cry and tell, please, Coach, keep me. No, I didn't. Because here's a man in a leadership position to me, in my eyes, who may know me better than I know myself. I walked away that day and knew that the way I was going to become Dr. J was in my yard, pretending to be him. My 9th grade year, 6'9", I'm walking down the hall with my books. I know the poster's there. I don't even want to see that thing. I know what it says, basketball tryouts. Man, I get into the hall and I couldn't help it. I tried not to look, but I couldn't help it. I didn't care. If the flame wasn't still there, I wouldn't even care about that poster, but I had to look at it. Maybe I wasn't going to try out for the team. But the thing about that is, opportunities always come. They always come. Sometimes we see them coming. That looks okay. It'll come again. It'll come again. Coach Gray had taken a job at another school. New coach was there that year, my last year junior high school. Didn't mean a lot to me. He didn't know me, I didn't know him. I remember what Coach Gray had told me. I don't know Coach Cole. But I still had this. There's still a passion, there's still something there. What in the world would take me back into that gym? What would take me back into that gym? What would take you back? Whatever arena it is. Or better yet, what took you back? Because I know we've got leaders in here that have experienced that failure. What took you back? I can tell you what it was for me. Plain and simple. I still had passion. And I had to know. I already knew what failure felt like. I knew what it felt like. So if I was going to get cut from this team, it wasn't going to be because I didn't walk through those doors. And I had to know. Listen, I go back to DC right now, and the guys I grew up with who were much better than me, that would just kick my butt every single time we played. Just sitting at home, still at their mom's house. Look, I'm 52. And they were older than me. Hey, T, welcome back, man. Come on, let's talk. Come on, man. You know, I was a lot better than you back then. I could have been in the NBA. Teacher didn't like me. Coach didn't like me. No opportunities came. I wanted to know, you gonna cut me? I wanted to know. walked into that gym. Coach Cole was different. It was a different atmosphere. He came around and shook everybody's hand. He said, congratulations, all of you, on being here, on showing, walking through those doors. Can't keep all of you. I think we can make a great team this year. Took us through all the drills, and it was awesome the way he would compliment guys. He'd go up to a little point guard and say, you know, you've been working on your ball handling skills. You're pretty good. Thurl, man, you're a pretty good shot blocker. I'm like, thanks, coach. I'd be guarding a shorter guy who shoot it. I'd put my hand up and hit my hand. Wow. That's a block shot in basketball. Put us through the drills. I was a little bit better. I got back the next day, went down the hall, looked at that piece of paper. I had the biggest smile on my face that I think I could ever muster out that day, because my name was sitting right there, man. It was the best day of my life. And I thought it was kind of cool because my name was the first one on the list. Like, hey, he thought of me first. It's alphabetical order, but my name was on the top. It was exciting. It was awesome. I made the basketball team. I made it. And it's amazing when you accomplish something, when you see it through. Because that's what great leaders do, right? They see it through. They see it through. Good times, bad times. And when you accomplish things, other things happen that you never ever thought would. But what changed my life was when I made that basketball team. The next day the coach called me into his office. I'm the only one in there. He sits me down and he said, Thurl, I don't even know how much you like this sport. But if you want to be great, if you will dedicate yourself, I'll come in 1 hour before the team practices to work with you. I'll stay 1 hour after. What? How would he do that? He hardly knows me. Why would this man? And I found out. He said, son, you look me in my eyes and son, I see potential in you. I see potential in you. You don't even see in yourself. I dedicated myself that day. Went on to high school, wasn't good enough to play varsity, played a year at JV. My senior year in high school paid off, especially for my parents. They couldn't afford to send us to college. As important as the education was. I'm going to North Carolina State University on a basketball scholarship. That wasn't my only choice. Wish I could choose more than one, but no. I chose NC State. NC State University, my senior year at North Carolina State University. A bunch of guys who just had a passion. A bunch of guys who were on the same page. Behind a great leader, a man named Jimmy V. You may not have ever heard of him, but you can Google it. You can Google everything, can't you? This man's name was Jim Balbano. I didn't know him from Adam when I first got there, he wasn't there. My coach that recruited me left. He came in my second year. I was getting ready to quit school, a couple other guys, because the coach had promised he was going to be there our full 4 years. But they bring this little Italian guy in, and he starts talking about this dream of his. If you haven't seen it yet, 30 years ago, in April, that North Carolina State team that I was on won the national championship. It was voted as probably the top 2 most exciting finishes of any athletic event. ESPN did a 30 for 30 on it. But I say that to say that this man was the epitome of leadership. The epitome of leadership. He was always prepared, like we talked about. He was a great communicator. First day we met him, he said, guys, I know you're distraught, I know you want to leave, but I want to tell you about my dream, he said. I know, I'm quoting him, I know I'm going to win the national championship. I know. I don't know when, but I know it's going to be soon. And it could be you guys. It could be this group. I dreamt about it. If you will commit to me, we commit to each other, it can happen. It will happen. So we started to talk. The more he talks, the more we're sitting up in our chairs and he's selling this thing to us. And listen, in 1983, we ended up in the national championship game with a team called the Houston Phi Slamma Jamma Cougars with a guy named Hakeem Olajuwon and a guy named Clyde Drexler. 7 seconds on the clock, I pass the ball to my teammate, he shoots it, it's falling short, my other teammate grabs it, dunks it in. We win the national championship. A team that nobody was talking about. We weren't even ranked. There was another school down the road that they were talking about, blue and white school, North Carolina. On that team was a guy named James Worthy, Sam Perkins. What's that other guy's name? Oh yeah, Michael Jordan. We won the national championship that year. Talk about leadership. We prepared for that. A great leader is not afraid to take risks. A great leader is not afraid to do unorthodox things, things that nobody else is doing. Coach Jim Valvano, on one of our very first practices, brings us into the gym, 12,000 seat arena, nobody in there but us, brings a ladder in, puts it under the hoop, pulls out a pair of scissors and says, guys, today we're going to practice cutting down the nets. Who does that? Come on, Thurl, you're first. Come on, cut your piece down. The other guys will go cut their pieces down. I'll go up last and put it around my neck. You guys will pick me up. You walk around this arena and you'll yell and scream. You'll run up the stairs like you're champions. Awkward. I cannot even begin to tell you how awkward that was. Champs! We did it twice a month. Okay, the second time, still uncomfortable. Third, all right. We're shouting louder. People are sticking their heads in the gym wondering what's going on. About the fourth time, we were into it, guys. I'm telling you. We were throwing Coach B up in the air. We were running up the stands. We were getting into it. When we won that national championship and the crowd just rushed the floor, and when the dust settled, you see the ladder coming over. I think in unison we all looked at Coach B because we got it. If you want to be a champion, you have to practice the things that champions do, even if it feels uncomfortable. We got that. I thought my basketball career would end right there on a high note. National championship, March Madness. I'm sitting in New York at the NBA draft. Utah Jazz had the 7th pick in the first round. They called Thurl Bailey. Are you kidding me? I'm getting autographs from all these guys I've been playing against in college. And I hear my name called as the 7th pick. Utah Jazz, huh? I don't know what was going through my mind. The one thing was, where's Utah? I'm walking up the stage, right? And there's a Utah Jazz rep there, and I grab my cap and my jersey. This is it. It was surreal. We didn't always play in the Delta Center or the Energy Solutions Arena. We had this place called the Salt Palace. We played at. One of my first games, I'm sitting on the bench. Coach Frank Layton's coaching the team. Thurl, get in the game. I jump up off the bench, go to the scorer's table. Nervous young rookie. I'm 199 pounds, 6 feet 11 inches tall. Scared young rookie. You know, your first day on the job, sort of. I walk out on the court that night. We're playing the Philadelphia 76ers. I didn't know how long I could last in the league. Before the game starts, I get a tap on my shoulder. I turn around. A hand reaches out to shake mine. Big old hand. I turned around and saw the afro. It was Dr. J. Dr. J! I didn't shake his hand right away. I knew everything about Dr. J. I read somewhere where he had an extra knuckle on each finger. I looked at it. I shook Dr. J's hand that day. I played 16 years of pro ball. A lot of great moments. Shaquille O'Neal fell on me once. I thought it was awesome. They're trying to help him up. No, stay down here, Shaq. Michael Jordan. Okay, maybe he put push Brian Russell a little bit. Greatest player to ever play. Greatest. Listen, I had to be careful playing against him. I didn't get caught up in what he was doing. I could let the coach see me like, oh. I couldn't. Michael was awesome. If you were going to play against Michael Jordan, you had to bring it. You had to bring your best. Are you that kind of leader? Are you that kind of leader where if you're in a leadership position and whoever's working with you has to bring their best every single day? He demanded it from his own teammates and his opponents. Listen, I wasn't going to miss an opportunity. I don't know if you have any old Michael Jordan posters of your parents. Go roll them out. Roll the dust off, roll them out. Don't look at Michael. Look in the background. Because I bet you're going to see me doing one of these. I wasn't going to miss an opportunity to be in the poster. But the greatest moment in my life. Come on now. I had a guy want me to sign it the other day. One of the greatest moments, the greatest moment in my NBA career was when Dr. J shook my hand. Come on, man. That's what the passion was all about for me. It doesn't matter whether it's basketball or whatever it is. It's all those little lessons that come back to you, all those things that you've been told and taught, the things you discard, the things you keep, the things that have brought you here today in this room. Now, I wasn't overconfident, I was realistic. I noticed my 4 teammates were guarding other players. I had to guard Dr. J that night. We talk about being thrown in the fire, but look, this is the way I looked at it. If I could hold Dr. J tonight, because he was still putting up points, who are they going to be writing about in the paper tomorrow? The rookie. Maybe that will set me on my way. I have never worked so hard in basketball. I held Dr. J that night to 47 points. There was absolutely no way he was going to score 50 on me that night. I'll tell you that. I tell you that story because that's my journey. We all have one. Just so happens our journeys have brought us here together. But I've learned so much from great leaders in my life. I've learned that you have to prepare yourself for greatness, for success. You have to focus. And it's hard to do that sometimes. Come on, with everything that's going on right now, it's hard to focus. Technology. I'm driving in my truck, taking my son and his teammate in the back seat to practice. My son's sitting up front with me. His teammates in the back. They're both on their phones. My son's texting somebody. I hear a laugh coming from the back seat. I look in the mirror, he's texting. My son looks and laughs. I pull over the side of the road and say, guys, son, get on in the back and talk to that boy. Yeah, electronics, those things are fine. But we gotta communicate. They're texting each other and all they can do is turn around and that's just something you didn't want me to hear. But my point is that I don't ever want to lose this. I don't want to lose this. I don't want to lose this. Let's get together. You know, I don't want people texting in their marriage proposals. Or texting in their job interviews. Great leaders see potential in others. They look them in the eyes and they tell them, maybe they're not the one, but they've got potential. Coach didn't have an obligation to keep me. But there are too many of us that want to win today. We want instant gratification. See the potential in people. And last, and to me, most importantly, great leaders serve. Great leaders take all those things that they've been able to accomplish, and they reach down and they say, listen, I want you to see, I want to teach you. I want you to see the view from here. And then what we have is an awesome guys that listen. I don't care where you go to school or where you go to school, we're going to do some great things. You do it where you're at, and then we're going to get together. We're going to share our ideas. We're going to build something. We're going to prepare ourselves, prepare our children and grandchildren. I'm honored. I'm honored to be here. My basketball career was awesome. It wasn't a reward for me. It's a reward for hard work and dedication, but my reward is now. You remember yourselves in high school? You didn't want to hear it. You probably did, but you know a lot of people that just, they were floating. They were just doing their time. Doing their time. Good luck to all of them. Keep the passion. Keep it going. Pass it on. Can I do one song for you?
Yes.
What you got? Come on, do something. I don't know what you want. I don't care what it is. Yeah, I see you, girl. Come on. Yeah. Pump that up a little bit more, will you? Every mind took a stand, and every hand just lent a hand, and every lie took a fall. We could feed every mouth, take every soul into our hearts. Was your brother, was your sister now? Let every voice give voice to love. Let every tear clear your vision. Let every eye I look up above wise up to it. 'Cause y'all can do it. Come on. Let every man should be himself. Let every heart ring to fruition. Pick your dreams upon the shelf, wise up to it, 'cause y'all can do it, do it. Every mind took a stand, and every hand just lent a hand, and every lie took a fall. We could feed every mouth, take every soul into our hearts. Was your brother, was your sister now? That would be the answer. That would be the answer. We could feed every mouth, take every soul into our house. Was your brother, was your sister now? Listen, can we erase the clouds of doubt, a train of thought that's all tied? You know you can lose all track of time. We can turn this story into what it should be. If every mind took a stand, if every hand just lent a hand, if every lie took a part, we could feed every mouth, take every soul into our house. Was your brother, was your sister now? That would be the answer. That would be the answer. Every mouth, take every soul into our house. Was your brother, was your sister now? I said, was your brother, was your sister now? Was your brother, was your sister now? You could feed every mouth, take every soul into our house. Was your brother, was your sister now? I said, was your brother, was your sister now? Thank you guys. Take care of each other.